Okay, hi everyone, welcome to today's design session. Sorry I had to move it forward from yesterday. I was in a noisy environment, so I couldn't really get it done. So let me share my screen without much ado and let's get to the meat of today's meeting. Um, okay, sure. So yeah, my name is Michelle Victor and I'm a designer and I've recently been trying my hands on creative design as well and also creative development. So I'm doing this session just to share my explorations with people and how to achieve some kind of advanced, should I call them advanced prototypes using Figma. I feel like this is a way to ease yourself into creative. This is creative development at the end of the day, because if you're like thinking holistic, should I use the word holistically about how to achieve all these complex effects inside of Figma using a tool as simple as Figma, then I feel like it's going to be easier for you to like transition into doing such high level prototypes or high level interactions inside of program code or no code tools or even code whether using code or using no code tools. So yeah, it's just a way for me to ease myself into the whole process. It's not the end of the day. The goal is not to end everything inside of Figma or to just create fancy prototypes and leave it there. It's to just learn the basics of interactive design, interactive prototyping, and at the end of the day, carry it into creative development. So today, I think I'm sharing my screen. Yes, I am sharing my screen. So today, what I'm going to be showing is this exploration I just did using Spline and also Figma. So you can see how the whole interaction comes into view. Everything you see here was done inside Figma except this what's called this gem here that's rotating. It was done inside of Spline. If you've seen some of my videos before, you see how I'm able to use Spline to like bring 3D assets and 3D motion into my Figma design. So I'm going to do the same thing all over again here. I'm going to try to get this gem. I'm going to show you how to create all these interactions, how I went about creating this layout, and even where I sourced inspiration from. Although this one was actually born from personal just exploration. But yeah, so another thing I think I want to mention as well is how to create. I think someone reached out to me sometime a couple of weeks ago to ask how to create. I don't know if you can see what's going on here, but as I scroll, this image obviously scrolls in the beginning. You can see that the image is scrolling, but once it gets to a certain point, only the frame itself that the image inside of is scrolling. The image itself is just sticky, and someone just like reached out to me and was like, oh, he would like to know how this is done, and I tried my hands and was able to like come up with a very rusty solution inside of Figma. So I'm going to share that today as well. So you can see as I scroll, the image is not scrolling, but if I were to scroll down, the image would scroll. If I was even scrolling up, the image would actually scroll, but it will get to a point where it just sticks, and then only the frame scrolls. And there's also like a subtle interaction added to the image and also the image frame as well. I'm going to show all of that. I don't know if we can get through all of them today, but we'll see how far we can go. So as I keep scrolling, all the images act the same pattern. They scroll to a certain extent and then they stick, and then only the frame scrolls afterwards. I just feel like it's a very subtle, nice scroll interaction thingy. So you might just carry this knowledge onto other things. I think there was also something I went ahead to do as well. I went ahead to, if you have seen one of our other tutorials, my last tutorial, I think I shared how to like create a what do you call it? Cursor follow. Yeah, cursor follow. So I feel like this is a website that I want to have that cursor follow effect added on. So I could just easily copy that component and paste it here and then have it work seamlessly as well. I think I already did so. So let me see if I can find that thing. So yeah, this is it. Canvas. It's called Canvas. It's supposed to be called cursor follow. So I can just turn it on, and then you see that as I move my mouse across the design, you can see that the cursor follows as well. It's not the best, yeah, and it's not meant to be, because Figma at the end of the day is a design and prototyping, so it's not meant to be the real deal. But at least it gives like the developer, like it makes their life like a lot more easier, seeing that you can actually do all of this kind of Figma. So it just like helps them simplify the whole process. So enough talk, let's get to work. I think I've spent the past 5 minutes talking about the work, but yeah. So basically, I'm going to start with the let's start with the design itself. Start design itself, and then we'll go to creating the the spline asset afterwards. So I'm just going to create a new design file in my drafts, and then I am going to, I think that's created. I'm going to change to light mode. I don't like, personally, I don't like using dark mode of Figma, except in rare cases. So light mode, and then I want to create my 1440 by 810 frame. This is my preferred frame. I've given like tons of talks about it as to why I prefer it, but yeah, it's just like it's just on the 16 by 9 aspect ratio, and I like the look it gives on landscape. So I'm just going to do too much talking about it again. So 1440 by 810, you can choose to use any other frame, it's entirely up to you. So I'm going to name this frame viewport, as I've been doing in all my more recent videos. Viewport. So viewport is just the confined area where every other thing, every aspect, the entire website is supposed to like scroll through. So ideally you can't display the entire length of your website. It's just meant to like show one particular area at a time. So this viewport is going to just give us that area of viewable elements at a particular point in time, or as the user scrolls. So that's just a rusty and very poor definition of what viewport is, but yes, let's go with that. So I'm going to create my viewport, and the next thing I'm going to start creating my design. So for my design, I think I was playing around with explorations. I was playing around with typography and explorations and everything. So let's just try to quickly recreate the entire thing. I'm not going to really sweat much time. So sweat much time explaining the exploration, the layout, because typically layout is actually born from. I can't teach you how to do quick layouts. It has to be something that you like explore, try, look at other people's work. So when I want to learn layouts, I try to like look at other people's work and learn the foundations of typography and all of that. So this was just like born from exploration. It sounds something I had in mind to do at the beginning. So I encourage you to try different layouts, look at other people's works, and look at especially poster designs, like retro poster designs. You can go to Pinterest. So let's go to Pinterest. Okay, you can go to Pinterest and then search for let's see poster. I think it's particular style that thing is called. It's called, is it Bauhaus? No, it's not Bauhaus. I've really forgotten the term for that particular style of poster design where they use Helvetica way a lot. But yeah, you can search for poster design, and you can just look at them. Really, there's really no way to teach the layout thing other than looking at people's work. Like look at people's work, taking lots of layouts, try to like observe what's going on there with the typography, with the placement of elements and all that. I think there are a couple of courses that actually do teach these things, but personally I've not really found a great one that I've been able to explore. Plus I don't do great at taking courses. I will take it halfway and then I will get tired at the end of the day and give up. So just feed your eyes. The more you feed your eyes, the better you have what's it called, a library of works in your head to pull layouts from. So let's just quickly get started with the layouts. I'm just going to create a text and call it hands, and I'm using this ampersand. It's called ampersand. Ampersand sign Mary. Okay. So I'm going to be using Helvetica, which is shocking because typically I normally use Inter. Inter is my default font. So yeah, typically I normally use Inter. But here, I think Inter is even Figma's default font. But yeah, let's use a Helvetica way for this one. So I'm going to increase the size to, let's say, 120. And then I'm going to change it to medium. I think medium. Yeah, medium is cool. And then I'm also going to go to this option here on Figma. This option here that's called vertical trim, and then trim the vertical and horizontal lines. Although I don't think I really need to do that because at the end of the day I'm still going to break this text into individual elements, but let's go with it for best measure. So I want to do that, and then I want to break this text here and marry, so that the and marry like starting a new line. Yeah, so the next thing I want to do is to also like redo this. Personally I like doing it because I feel like it just like the default spacing, like vertical spacing between by default for most text it doesn't really like look good. It's always like the space between them, like this vertical space from here to here is always too much. So personally I like reducing it. So here you can see it's auto by default line height here. So I'm going to just reduce it by there's really no stock in stone. So there is actually like a general guiding rule. I think it says -1 to something% or something like that. But then personally I just like shrink it down so it looks good. That's really the best thing best advice I can give. I think 88%. Let's do 88%. I was doing it. So yeah, I think 88% looks good for this one. The spacing does not look too much. It's okay and still legible. And also personally, another thing I like doing is also to reduce the line width, letter spacing. Yeah, line width. Yeah, so letter spacing, let's do -2%. For this one, we want to just do small. For depending on the typography, I want to do a lot. For some typography, so for example, this font, Morganite has like a really tight letter spacing. So now I don't really need to do anything to adjust the letter spacing. But for this one, I like reduce. For this particular text, which is Helvetica and -2% works. Looks great to me. For anything less than that, the lines between the space between here and here might be too thin, might be too tight. So I don't think I want that kind of thing. So I want to do Hansa Marie here. Let's go with that. And then the next thing I want to do is to have this go to Lucid icons. Lucid, oh boy, that's wrong. So Lucid icons instead. Lucid icons. Okay, so search for arrow. So these are just like a nice visual thing. It's not really like a must, but this arrow I just figured they were. I just thought it looked kind of nice, and I went ahead with it. So I'm going to blow the size up to. I'm going to do K. Yeah. I'm going to, first of all, I want to remove all these corners. I want to go for this like sharp edge icon aesthetic. So I'm going to remove all the corners in the vector or in the lines. So what I want to do is just select both of them and then come to this option here and change it to rounded. First of all, you can see that the corners or the ends of the strokes are now they are no longer rounded. That's the word. And then another thing I want to do is that in this text, or ideally this other stroke always looks too long, so I'm just going to go into edit mode and then shrink it down. So yeah. So but then it has like this one thing, it has like a corner. This corner is rounded. I don't want that rounded thing. I want to remove it totally. So I just want to select this particular vector here and then come to this option and go to the join and press this mitre angle, like mitre, yeah. So just going to change to, like, you can see everything is hard edges now, and this is the kind of thing I want. This is the aesthetics I'm going for. So next thing I want to do is to press key on my keyboard and then scale it up by 10. So yeah, scale it up by 10x. So scale it up by 10x. And then I think like this, we're good to go with the base element and then typography here, and that's all. So let me see. Okay. So next thing I want to do again is that typically fonts, or should I call it fonts? I say fonts, icons come in like a, what's it called, in a bounding box, which is good. You should actually leave icons. If you're designing, if you're new to design, you should know that leave icons inside of their bounding box. Use them like that. The bounding box is meant to be like a, what's it called, safe area for icons. You're not meant to take them out. But for this particular one, I'm going to take them out because of personal reasons. So yeah, you know, I say know the rules so you can break the rules. So I have known the rules, at least to some extent. So now I'm breaking them to fit my own aesthetic. So I'm just going to either take them out. I don't think I need to take them out. What I can just do is just to press this button here, this resize to fit button here, and it's going to resize to the area, to the exact area of the, what's it called, of the icon itself. So you can see that the bounding box has some extra space before, which is good and fine, which is actually a safe area for your icon. But for this one, I don't want that bounding box. I want to just what's it called, want to fit snugly around the icon's area. So I'm going to just press this button here, resize to fit, and it's just going to shrink down to fit the area of the text, of the icon, which is good and fine. So I think I have that sorted out. And the next thing I want to do now is to now create my typography here. It's just like a nice line of text that says something about what we do at Hansa Marie. So Hansa Marie is meant to be like a, should I say, a jewelry, although the idea did not come to me at first, but it was as I kept exploring that it came to me. I was like, oh, what if this, when I created this gem asset, I was like, okay, you know, what if I just actually pattern this thing to go with what's it called, the whole gem or jewelry aesthetics. Although this is not jewelry, what's it called, this is not diamonds she's wearing, but then you still get the image, you still like sort of reflect the overall idea that I'm trying to like pass across that this brand does. So that's that for that. So let's get to creating text. I'm just going to open, I can copy any text really, any body of text really, but then I want to just open lorem ipsum. People say don't use lorem ipsum in your design. Well, that's their own job. I'll use lorem ipsum because I don't have time to start looking for actual copy. Although maybe when I want to like ship it, put it out there in my portfolio, I might actually generate text, actual text, text put inside of it. But then for now, please, I just want to nail the design itself. So let's shrink it down to, let's use 16. This is 16 for Helvetica and switch it to regular or light. I think light works fine. And then I'm going to switch it to all caps. So all caps here, uppercase entirely, so I don't have to do any editing. So paragraphs, let's do one paragraph. I think one paragraph works fine. I don't think it works fine. I think I want it to have more volume in design. Okay. So yeah, you have something like this, but this is too small. I'm going to increase it in a second. But before I do that, I want to take care of the line spacing. So you can see that for a smaller text, the line spacing that is for this one is not exactly looking good. It's looking too tight. So here, for what I do, as a rule of thumb, what I do for any text that's 16 pixels in size, what I just do, I just go to the line height and enter 150%. So 150% that's typically used for 16 pixel text. But for this one, I think I'm going to be using 140 because 150 looks too spacious. Since I think I'm using that a regular. Since I'm using light, so I think like it looks, so 140 looks okay or thereabouts. And the line spacing also looks too tight because this is smaller text, so that -2 looks too tight in smaller text. So minus 0.5. So this is just typography 101. Is this 101? I don't think it's 101. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, it's just tips and tricks on how to like better your typography inside of Figma. I'm not the best, but this is what I've been using and it has been working. It's kind of not too fine, but it has been working okay for me. So I'm just going to create a 2-paragraph of text instead. So you can use actual copy for yours, but for this one, please, let's just stick with. I think 2-paragraph looks too much. So let's stop. Let's just trim out from here to here. I think this looks okay. So we're still going to take care of the size and everything, but that's going to be done. So you can see that the layout is kind of starting to come together. Although I've not started placing things properly, but then the layout is starting to come. I have my major hero text here, and then I have some small text here, and then I'm just playing around with scale and everything. So that's what I'm trying to do here. The last thing I want to do is also like have body of text here, and here what I'm going to do just like to, I don't know what this particular text is called. This kind of text is called, but let's call it should I call it subtitle? So I'm going to write 2023, so it's not like here 2023 to 2024 to. I actually don't know why they use this sign, but I think I've seen it a couple of people using. But yeah, let's just go. So 2023 fancy collection. It's collection. Collection. Okay, yeah. So this is a collection of all the Hans Amari products from 2023 to 2024. So that's just the idea I'm trying to pass across here. May not be perfect, but it's for exploratory purposes. So I don't really care about the authenticity of it. So I think I'm going to make this one regular instead because I want to look bolder a bit. So I want to start grouping things together. So now when I say grouping things, I'm not going to use groups actually. I'm still going to use auto layouts, but then grouping is like the general term for them. So try not to group your elements, except you know the elements you're supposed to group. So like I said, know the rules before you break them. So know when to group things, know when to frame things. But as a rule of thumb, typically frame things. Like mostly try to frame things. Frame them or auto layout them, for even better self auto layout them, because once you auto layout them, you have this thinking that you have thinking like the box model that's being used in web design. So Hans Amari is, I think I still want to increase it to, let's say, 140. I think I want to take more space. So I want to select both of them. That's the Hans Amari and then their collection date, and then I'll just auto layout them. And then spacing between them, I want to make it, let's do 24. I think 24 looks fine, sort of. Let's play, because typically once you're looking at something like this, it may look okay or it may not look okay, but then what I try to do to make like very informed decisions is to view it, preview it in view mode, and it's just going to in view mode, it's going to give you an idea of scale of things. So I think it's looking good. But and if you're designed for mobile, try not to view it on this screen as well. Try to view it on an actual mobile phone. Regardless of whatever mobile phone you're using, you can download Figma Mirror on it and then view it there, so you can see the scale of design, actually make informed decisions. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. So I think I want to still want to increase Hans Amari to, let's say, 160. Okay, I think this is fine. Let's go with it. Let's not dwell too much. There's actually more important things that we need to do. So I want to also have this these are like thrice. I think thrice works fine. Then group them together. When I say group, I'm actually auto layouting them. So I'm going to shift A them, and then the spacing between them, I'm going to make it like, say, 40. Let's do 32. No, 40 is too small. 32 is smaller. So 40. And then I want to name this group. I want to name it arrows. So I'm only naming layers here because I'm doing this in public. So if I was doing this in private, I would not even care about the layers. So let's name our layers for righteousness' sake. So I want to select my arrows and the text, and then I want to lay out them. Yeah, so I want to auto add them, and then I want to align bottom so that the bottom of this thing aligns with the bottom of the text as well. That's something you want to keep in mind as well. So I want to select the arrows, and then I want to select the auto layer group, call them bottom. Let's call it bottom elements, and then I also align bottom. Yeah. So another thing I want to do is to make this one. So ideally I should use a grid. To actually know how to properly resize this text. But for now, let's not use the grid, please. Grid is going to take time. It may take time, and I might end up playing around too much. So the next thing I want to do is to add a padding of 40. Side padding of 40, internal padding, and the vertical padding of 40 as well. So I want to also set the width to 1440, which is the width of the actual viewport. So the viewport, I'm actually making the width of the viewport. So I want to just select bottom elements, and then it's outside of the design, outside of the frame. So I want to Ctrl X, paste it out of the viewport. Yeah, so it's inside of the viewport. Now align bottom, align this thing. So you can see that it's sitting properly at the bottom of the design, and then it's having a pattern of this and this. So what I want to do now is to set the spacing, this spacing here, click on it, and then press space on your keyboard, and then press enter. So the thing automatically just spreads. So you can see what it does here in the auto layout section, that sets the spacing to auto. So the vertical spacing between them is just auto, and so that's something I want to just do. So for this text, I think I want to just maybe stretch it a bit, shrink the base. Maybe it should not be more than, because if a text is running too long like this, ideally this is going to get tiring for anybody to read. And so if any designer, like if you were to do it, it might look good, but for a proper use, for user, and that's for any user really. Me personally, I use myself as a point of example. I'm going to get tired reading like one line of text. Like it's just going to, like, there's really no difference between reading if this text was like this, if it was like this, and if it was like that. There's really no difference between them in terms of actual content that you're supposed to read as a human being. But if it's like this, I'll just get tired having to read one line for ever and ever and ever. Like I will keep traveling and traveling, my eyes keep traveling and traveling, and it's never going to stop. It's just going to feel tiring to just keep reading one line of text for a couple of minutes. So what you want to do as a user is to factor that in and just make it smaller. I think there's a rule. I've forgotten. I think they said 6 lines of text. Sorry, like some couple of words should not be more. A line should not be more than a couple of words. There's this particular number they gave, they advised. But me personally, I use my eyes to judge again. So I think this looks okay. So let's just leave it like this. So the next thing I want to do is to bring this text back to view. Call this one text. Okay. So we're good. And this one I also want to make the auto layout group 1440. Yeah. Make the padding, top and bottom padding 40. And then align left, align to the top. So this is sitting at the top as well as it should. So yeah, we have this, and then I also want to layout this one inside. I want to call them items. Let's call it items. Don't have a better name to call it. So let's call this one, this frame, let's call it top elements. Ideally, I think you should top div, yeah? Like if you want to name it in development terms, but let's just call it top elements. So we have top elements, we have our top elements, we have our bottom elements. Good and fine. So let's check the layout. I think it looks good like this. So the next thing I want to do is just do I want to have a let's just copy this what do you call it, this navbar here, and paste it in design, because I don't want to have the navbar is not something that's really too important, so I don't really stress myself creating new navbar. So I've pasted the navbar here. I'm going to call them navbar. I'm pasting 2 navbars, but I'm going to explain later on why I'm actually pasting 2 navbars there. So the next thing I want to do is to navbars, I want to give them like a fill, a temporary fill. So let's make it red, and I'm going to make it normal. Okay, yeah. So I'm giving it red so you can see what I want to move the hands and Mary down a bit, and then just to rest under where the navbar actually stops. So like this, I think there's more. The text is not entering into where the navbar area should be. So I can remove the fill now. On this, I can change back to color burn. Then yeah. So yeah, let's view it. So you can see, I think this looks interesting enough for a typography. So we can get started with the other items. So the next thing I want to do is to have that rotating. What's the time? Okay, 30 minutes done. So I also have that rotating gem here. It's pretty very standard business to actually do. So what I'm just going to do is just go into Spline. Go into Spline. So Spline, if you don't know Spline, in case you don't know Spline, you can just check out Spline.design. I think that's their what's it called, site. And you can find, it's just a very simple 3D tool that you can actually get familiar with as a designer. So where I had this gem that I created instead of, I didn't create the gem. Sorry, I found it out of Spline, and then I reworked it to use for my design. So what I just did is to add like an animation and everything. So the only thing I think I did was add animation. I just like add the styling. I tried to add the styling, but I think I prefer this base styling that it came with for my design. So what I'm just going to do is to tell you how to find the gem. To find the gem, just go to community and then search for gem. Yeah, search for gem. So you're going to find this one called Diamond Material. This particular one by David Ubinati. I think, I don't know if I can copy the link and paste it in the chat, but I'm going to paste the link in the tutorial, like the link to this assets inside of the tutorial video. So let me see, I don't think, yeah, so copy the link. So let me paste it in the chat so you can get access to it, or you can view it in your spare time. Yeah, so thank you very much, Yusuf. Says 60 to 75 characters per line. Although previously I'm not going to count 60 to 75 characters, but I can just eyeball it and say, okay, this looks good. So when I want to like actually do like deep work, I can say, okay, yeah, I want to focus on actually. But yeah, thank you very much for that feedback. So I want to find this diamond material, and then I want to press remix. So just press remix on the file. So ideally, remix means you can make it you can remix it, and you can take the file and then create your own thing out of it. So that's just the idea of Spline, sharing, community, sharing. So I have found the file. It's just going to, once you press remix, it's going to open another tab. The crazy thing about Figma, about Spline, is that it doesn't let you, it doesn't open the file, because on Figma, if you were to like duplicate a file, it's going to actually open the file directly for you. But this one does not do that. So you have to keep watch and say, okay, it has opened a new tab. So I'm going to see like a couple of diamonds. You can use anyone you want. So I think this is even the great thing about this one. It has like a couple of other files for you to, a couple of other diamonds for you to. So I think the one I went for was this round one, which is the basic diamond shape. There's a couple of other ones, emerald, cushion, blah 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 here. So I'm going to go for this round one. So what I want to just do to copy, I'm going to copy it. Click into the file file group here, and then Control C on this round one. So this round one is one I'm using. If I were to hold Option and then click on my mouse and rotate, you're going to see that you can actually see the shapes from this side. So the one I prefer is this diamond here. So yeah, this one is what I'm going to go for. So just try to select it. Let me reset my camera. So I'm going to select this round one. And this round one, make sure the entire group selected. Control C it, and then click outside of the group, and then turn off. You can choose to delete. Okay, let's open a new file instead. Let's open a new file. Let's not delete. Let's not do damage. Let's not damage the file entirely. So let's open a new file instead. So I've copied that diamond, and I'm going to paste it in this new file. So I want to just open a new file and then delete the base rectangle or base shape that's added there, and then Ctrl V to paste your diamond. So you can see the diamond I've pasted inside of this new file. I copied it from there, pasted it here. So copy the diamond you prefer from this ones, and then paste it in this file. So if since I've pasted it here, ideally I can preview by viewing it here, but it's going to be acting weird. So you can see it's acting weird by default, because that guy has added them. The person that has the original file has added them. Interactions. To know that there's interaction added, you can see that there's this icon here. Once I hover over it, it shows has event. So that's not what you want. You want to remove the interaction and add your own interaction. So what I'm just do, just click on the round. It's called round. Let me call it diamond to have a more contextual. Okay. So let's call the group diamonds. It has a couple of other groups inside, but don't bother about those ones. So just focus on the group name. So the group has an event attached to it. So what you want to just go to this. If you want to see events attached to a particular file or a particular object, you will see the events here or the states here. So you can see the event added is look at. So look at means that whenever I move my mouse to the object, should look at it. So that's what's happening with the weird movement here. The object is trying to look at my mouse as my mouse is moving around. So remove it. Just go to this right hand side, and then press that cancel. So you can just cancel it, and you can see that it doesn't have that weird interaction happening on it again. So that's first step to achieve. So the next thing I want to do is to change my background to white. So just click on the background, and then here you see the background color scene. On that scene you see BG color. So change it to FFF, which is the color code, hex code rather, for white. So with that done, we have our first task complete. So the next thing I want to do is to what round do you want to do? Next thing I want to do is to click on the object, and then I want to what do you want to do? I want to rotate it. So I want to start creating my motion. So you can see that in this one here, in this version here, you can see that the gem is continuously rotating round and round and round. So I want to have that rotating motion. It's very easy, like very easy to do. What you just need to do is just go to click on the object, and then go to states. You can see states here. So states is just like I don't know how to explain states. I don't know how to, but then the name is actually kind of descriptive. States, you want to, like, in this state, it can be it can be that it's showing the front, and then the states 2 should be showing the back. So I think it's something like Adobe XD was one that adopted that thing first. Like, so that state thing first, state management first. But Figma does something like that, but then it doesn't call its own states. But yeah, let's just go ahead. So I'm just going to go to states and then press plus. By default, there's nothing. So once I press plus, you can see that it now shows me base state and also state. So I can actually rename them to something. I can call it let's just call it state or states. Let's call it let's leave it as state, please. Let's not confuse. So I'm going to click on the object. You can see base state and state. So what you just need to do is to add a new you can make changes in this state too, and then you can set it so that the product or the object rather moves from base state to state 2. So by default, there's no difference between state 1 and state 2. So if I were to go to states, go to the states now, and then I go to rotation, I can now rotate it. I can either rotate it on screen here or rotate it here. So I'm going to rotate the y-axis by 360. Yeah. So this y-axis, just come there, click on it, and type 360, and that's all. You're not going to see anything happen because ideally a 360 rotation is a full rotation. So it's just going to rotate and come back to its original point that it was before. So you're not going to see anything happen like visually here. But if you have to go to setting other things, you're going to see it actually rotating. But let me touch this here. So you can see I did what happened was that it rotated here like this until it got to 360, and 360 is actually the same point where it began. So ideally that's what happened. So just go to the y-axis, enter 360, good and fine without any problems. Next thing I think I want to do personally is to increase the scale. I think this thing is still small in relation to the camera, so I want to increase the scale to, let me go to base state. I should have done this in the beginning, but base state, I want to increase it to 2. I want to increase the scale of the y to 2, increase the scale of z to 2. Yeah, so it's proportional. So it's okay like this. The next thing I want to do is I want to think in state 2. Okay. No, it should be 2 as well. So 2 as well. Okay, cool. So yeah, so in the state 2, in this new state, I have the y-axis set to 360. In the base state, it's set to 0. So keep that in mind. If it's the same thing, nothing's going to happen. So it has to be different. So state 2 has this 360. Base state has nothing. So what I'm going to do is in the base state, I'm also going to rotate like this. I'm going to rotate it, just angle it sort of way, because I feel like this view is just too proportional. It's just too boring. It feels too boring. So I want to actually add some I don't know what the word is. Forgive me, I don't know what the word is. But yeah, I just want to rotate it some in a kind of manner where it has a more interesting look to it. So I think like this, rotating the y-axis, rotating the x-axis by 20. Let me do it here. So what you want to do is go to the base state, and then on the y-axis enter 25 there. On the z-axis enter minus 25. I think that's correct. Yeah, so it just like rotating, angles itself in sort of interesting manner. So yeah, so I think it should be the same for the base state, and for the state 2 as well. I should have done this before creating state 2. I think I can still delete state 2. So let's not get confused. So let's start from state 2. So this is state 1. There's no state 2 in this version here now. So in this version here, I've rotated the y-axis by the x-axis by 25 degrees, and then the z-axis by minus 25 degrees. So just enter the values there, and you're going to have this rotation like this. You can rotate yours differently, good and fine. So I choose to go with this one. So the next thing I want to do is to create a new state. So in this new state, the same values are carried over into the new state. The only thing I need to do in this new state is to rotate the x-axis to by 360 degree. 360. I think it's going to come out differently. Okay, so the y-axis has been rotated by 360. You're not going to see anything happen because I mean, it's like I said, it's a full rotation, so you're not going to see anything really happen there. So what I want you to do next is to now, ideally, you should start playing. So when I press play, you should start playing. But it's not playing because I've not added like an event that triggers it to move from state 1 to state 2. So the next thing to do is to add a event. So the event now is just to come here to this event section, press plus here, and then you see start. Just leave that one. It's totally fine. And then press here under actions, select transition, and you're going to see that transition diamond is added. And then you can click on it and then come to this section here, and then select this place here, select the first one, let it move from, so I'm going to select base state here, so I move from base state to the new state, which is called state. So that's what I want to do here. So the next thing I want to do as well is to change this motion type to linear. I'm going to change to linear instead of ease out. So I'm going to select what's it called, what do you call it, select transition here and select linear. So I'm going to change it to linear and then change duration to 10. So with that done, the next thing I want to do is the last thing I want to do rather is to set the loop to infinite. So I want it to loop infinitely. Or do I want to loop? No, I don't think I want to loop. I don't want none. So I'm choosing none because for some reason, for the sake of recording reasons, I'm just going to leave it as none. So duration is set to 10, the transition is set to linear. So let's see how it plays out. So you can see that the gem is rotating round and round and round. So that's basically everything. So what you just need to do is export and convert to GIF. So let's just do that quickly. It's very, very easy to do. So what you want to do is to press export here. We can see that once you have interaction working good and fine, you can go to export here and then select video recording. Export. I want to export as a video recording. So select video recording here and then set the time to fixed. So in this fix now, I'm going to enter that value. The value, that's that 10, that duration of 10 that I entered here, that I entered in this event creation. So I'm going to enter 10 there so that it just records exactly 10 seconds. I don't have to like keep watching or anything. So just record 10 seconds. And yeah, I think that's all really. Every other thing, okay, FPS, I'll set it to 60 because I like high. The higher the FPS, the smoother your movement or the smoother your motion. And the ratio, all those things, I'm just going to leave them. The last thing I think I want to do is to frame this. Because like this is like, it's going to record my entire screen. So I'm going to frame this, I want to frame this diamond. I can choose to go for, what I want to just click on the background and then select, go to this under frame, you see responsive. By default, it's always responsive. So I'm going to select, I think square. I'm going to select square. So in this square now, I'm going to try to zoom in a bit, so just zoom into convenient state so that you're, and try to like centralize your, what do you call it, your gem in the middle. So zoom in a bit. You can also enter a manual value here, but that's kind of wonky. It's not too accurate sometimes. So I want to just centralize it and zoom in a bit, and then I can play. So once you play, you can see how it works. So make sure that your gem is not going out of frame instead of while it's rotating. Try to look at this try to watch it to the end to make sure that it's not going out of frame. So with this done, yeah, I think this is good to go. You can now press export and then select video recording and then all those things. I think they are still set to default. So 60 for the FPS and then duration set to 10 and you can press start. So once you press start, you can make sure once you press start, that's not started recording. So you have to press this button here, this red button here for it to start recording. Once you press it, so it shows you this red stuff around it and then you know it's recording. So once it gets to 10 seconds, it's going to stop. So it's counting down. Once it gets to 10 seconds, it will stop. Okay, so you can see that the thing just closed by itself once it got to 10 seconds, and that's what we want to have. So it's processing, just give it 1 second to finish. So allow it to finish processing. So once it finishes processing, it shows you like this UI for you to, I don't know if you're using Windows, what's going to show you, but then ideally you should get this window if you're using regardless of what you're using, your spline rather. So I'm going to call it gem. I call it gem.mb4. So save it to your preferred folder. So once you have this done, the next thing really should be just to copy the video and put it in Figma. But videos do not work in Figma. I could probably use videos myself, maybe if I was using like an enterprise plan or a paid plan, but I use free plan on Figma. So I try to also like share how to like use whatever I'm sharing. I try to also like make sure that I'm using like the free plan, so that you too can get the hang of whatever is going on there. So the next thing I want to do is to just go to the gem turn. Open. I'm going to open. What do you call it? I'm going to open. What's that tool again? I'm going to open GIFSKey. It's called GIFSKey. I think someone said it's also available on Windows. I'm not really sure, but do check for it. GIFSKey. So GIFSKey helps you convert videos into high quality GIFs. I think it's the best solution I've seen so far. So good. So far. So I'm just going to copy that. Try to find that gem video I just did just now. So gem video here, and press open. So this is the video I just did just instead of what's it called, Spline. So it's here. I'm just going to see the settings here. You can mess around with the settings if you want to, but me personally, I like to change the percent, change 100%, and then once you change the percent or whatever you actually leave it at it shows you like the estimated size once it finishes converting. But 56 MB is a bit too much. It's a bit too much. I'm just going to go for what do I want to go for? I want to go for 80%. Let's go for 80%. Let's shrink it down to 80%. So we can see the estimated size. So 40 point something MB is a big GIF, but inside of Figma it's going to play. It's going to play inside of Figma. So let's just go for 80%. So I think even GIFs of 100 MB can actually play inside of Figma. I don't really know. But me personally, I don't like it getting more than 60 MB. So 40. But for a live website, I don't think this is actually like a good idea to have a GIF that's this big in size. But yeah, since it's Figma, let's do anything we want to do. So let's I think 40 MB is a good target size. So at 80%, and then make sure your loop forever is turned on so that it like loops, as the name implies, forever. It just keeps looping. Once it gets to the end, it turns around again and again and again, and that's the end of it. So let's convert. So while it's converting, let's get back to Figma and finish some a couple of stuff. I don't know if we can actually do the rest stuff today, but let's see how far we can go. So with this done, the next thing I want to do, I think, would be to start setting all these things up for interaction. So if you see the way my design comes into view here, the text, you can see that once the text loads up, the text actually comes from this invisible space, invisible dimension. Let me call it what's it called, pocket dimension, they call that thing, or hammer space. Yeah, so they come up with this invisible hammer space. So I also have that same effect on all the text on my hero section. So but before we go do that, I think our GIF is ready. So let's copy, and this is the fun part. So let's save as gem GIF. Let me call it gem GIF. So it's saving to downloads. So good and fine. So with that done, let's go back to Figma. The next thing I want to do is just to Control K. That's Control Shift K rather. That's to add a media file into your design. So I'm going to select that GIF file and then paste it outside of my design first. And then I can I can now scale it down properly. So I think it's looking too big. Scale it down, Control X, and then paste it in your design. So ideally it's going to be in front of everything. So you can just like relegate it, move it in the layers panel, move it to the background. So you can move it to the background here. Yeah, so it's behind the elements. So you can, once it's behind the background, you can properly move it to where it should be. So I think in the beginning I left it in the middle, but I think this looks good. I think this actually looks good. Although the size is too much, I'm going to shrink it down. But if it's in the middle, I think it's still not bad. But since there's like so much space in this left hand side that's not doing anything, that's not why put it in the middle when it could actually be here. So yeah, that's what I just did. I think what I want to, if I were to even play around, what I want to do is that I want to have two versions like this. And then, so you can see, this is how ideas actually come to me while I'm working. I start by working on like a basic idea, and then once I start, once I start putting things on canvas, like ideas, I'm like, oh, what if I did this? What if I moved this thing here, put this thing here? So this just came to me now, that what if I have like a loading screen, I have this gem like turning around, and then once the screen actually loads up, the gem now goes to this, so the gem now shrinks in size and comes to this section here, so that like it takes proper use of this. So since it's empty in this screen, you can actually be loading, like I'm showing you like loading, gem is turning around here. I can't do that thing on this call, but I think I'm going to like explain it after this on my own. So it can be turned around while it's here. It can be showing loading. So once it has finished loading and these texts are coming into view, the thing just like shrinks to this top right, is it top right? Yeah, top right corner. And the text just like cover everywhere, so it doesn't interfere with the text, but then I still have a way to like blend this version and this other version into you. So that's just an idea that came to me when I was working, but I'm not going to manifest it on this call. So you can play around if you can. I think I would really appreciate someone even doing that and reaching out to me like, oh, I was able to implement your idea. So that would be cool. But for this call, let's do it like this. Let's have it here. So the last thing I want to do, because the gem color I feel like is too dark. It's too dark, like it's way too dark for this design. So you can see, let it go to that section. I think it's still taking some time to load up. Just give it some time. So let me press play. Okay, so you can see it's there, but then I feel like it's too, the color is just too dark for this particular design. So what I'm to just do is like very easy, just shrink the opacity, drop the opacity down. So I'm just going to drop the opacity down to 50%. So like this now, I feel like it fits more with the aesthetic of the design more than that first one. I was like a bit darker, so I may just want to like stick with this. Yeah, I think this looks good. Like this now, it looks more translucent because that first one was like looking at like it's there's too much shadow. If this was like a sort of darker website I was looking at using like a darker background, I think we could have gone with this version. But this website is just white, so I want this gem to be like a bit lighter to the eye. So let's do this version of the gem. So you can see it's turning around. I think it just like adds a bit of I like 3D. I won't lie, I like 3D. I like adding 3D to my to my web design project. It just makes it look more. It just brings some sort of a dimension, depth. I don't know the perfect word, but depth to my designs, and I just like the look of it. So you might want to explore that. So you can see that this is a 2D thing, but they're adding a 3D thing, a 3D element, just like heightens the experience. So I can't really explain it, but it just feels good. Feels good. So let's move this out of the way. I'm going to keep this one for later. Let me return the opacity down. Okay, no, let me create a new page and add it there, so it doesn't get in the way of our work. So also, I'm going to share this file at the end of this design session, so don't worry about that. So I don't think we're going to be able to create the entire sites, like the scrolling interactions on this call, but what I want to just do is just show you how to like do the text animations, and we can move forward from that. So to do the text animations, let's first of all properly structure the text. So the thing I want to do is to have the text. You can see that here, this is the original design I did. So here you can see that the letters come out one by one. Hans and Mary all the text letters come out one by one. So I'm going to do that on this call. Before I used to like not do it on the call because it was like a lengthy process. It still is a lengthy process, but I found a way to like cut down my time like by a lot more than I used to do it before. So we're going to quickly do it on this call as well. So what I want to do is this Hans and Mary. Select the Hans and Mary, and I want to frame it. So frame selection. I want to call it hero text. Okay, and then I want to select the Hans and Mary text itself. So this hero text is not in It's not in an auto layers group. So I want to select the hero text itself, and then I want to the actual text Hans and Mary. Select it, and then I want to right click, and then this option on Figma that says outline stroke. So I didn't know it before. I mean, outline stroke typically is to like actually remove the strokes from the fill, like separate the strokes and the fill from a particular from a design object inside of Figma. But what outline stroke does for objects that do not have strokes, because like this Hans and Mary does not actually have a stroke. But if I to do outline stroke, it's not supposed to work. But what it does is that it breaks it into like individual objects. So if I just do outline stroke, you can see that the H is now one object. Everything is now like one. So this is just a way to like speed up the process that I used to like have to painstakingly break the text into one letters before. If I used to do that, it was really stressful. So before I don't used to do it on the call. But things I've found out outline stroke does this. You can actually just do outline stroke. It's going to split everything perfectly well for you. So what I want to now do is to select hands itself, just select only hands, and then I want to right click and then frame selection, yeah. So I'm going to frame selection, call it hands, okay, and then I'm going to frame hands and Mary together since they're on the same line. So I want to select Mary first, but what I want to do is to move it closer to the hand. I feel like the space is just too much between them, so just move it closer to the hand a bit. There's really no size, just move it closer, just until it looks sort of better. I feel this looks better. So select Mary and then select the hand and then frame them as well. So frame selection. So I'm going to where's frame selection? Frame selection, yeah. So I'm going to call this one, obviously, hand Mary. Oh boy. Yeah, so call it a meh, but that's totally fine. So with that done, the next thing I want to do is to select this hero text and then set this this object here to set this object here to resize to fit, because I feel like there's a couple of things have changed since the text has moved around. I've converted it to a stroke, so it's going to just resize to fit, and then it's going to properly centralize everything. So with this done, the next thing I want to do is to select the hands frame, select the Anne-Marie frame, and then set clip content, turn on clip content. So this is very important because the next series of work we're going to do is going to involve moving things around. So with that done, in this items auto layout group as well, what I want to do is to turn off the auto layouts, because I want to. Let's just frame this. Let's just frame this 2023 collection. Let's frame it. So I'm going to select 2023 collection and frame it. Frame selection and call it. So let's call it subtitle. Okay. So I'm going to turn on clip content. Turn on clip content because it's important when I want to like animate stuff and make stuff come from inside of this invisible hammer. I call it hammer space because it's like but yeah, this invisible group at the bottom. So that's what I want to. That's why I'm actually turning on clip content, because if it was not turned on, if I turn on clip content, let me. So you can see as I move the object, the collection out of its frame, which is, let me make the frame. No, let me use big one instead. Let me use big one instead. So clip content, turn on, add a fill, add a res. People that have seen me do this before, the most familiar with what I'm trying to like explain. But if you have not, I'm going to. So this is like the frame for the hero text. Clip content is not turned on. It's turned on rather. So if I had to move the items outside of the frame, you can see that they are just going invisible because the frame is cutting off all those parts that are going outside. But if I had to turn off clip content, you can see the and so I want to actually have it turned on so that whatever goes outside just disappears. That's the idea. So I'm just going to click on the hero text and then I'm going to remove the fill. I don't need it really. So I'm also going to ungroup the hands Anne-Marie because I don't like playing with groups. Groups they might mess up the file. So the automatic group that outlining the stroke gives to me, I'm going to ungroup. I'm going to remove it. So ungroup the group, not the frame. Keep in mind the group. So these are just the frames. You have the hands frame, the Anne-Marie frame remaining, and they both have clip content turned on. So I'm going to also go to this text here, the arrows. Okay, I think the arrows already have clip content turned on as well. So this last one, the way I'm going to animate this last one, it's a bit tricky, but let's get it done. So for this last one, what I want to do is to open insert text. I think I've done it before on my other design session. So insert text, this plugin, and then I'm going to open the UI. So I'm going to load insert text, and then this is going to mess up my file. It's not going to work. Before we do that, let's prepare, because this text actually it's a lot. It messes up files in like very ways that I don't want it to mess up. So what I want to do is actually break the text into like individual lines. To do that, just go to where the text truncates to the next line. Just move your cursor there, click on the cursor there, and then press enter. So enter is just going to like break it into 2 lines. You might not see anything happen, but they're actually broken into 2 lines. So break it into 2 lines, enter. Nothing will happen, but make sure you press enter. So enter. So clicking on enter is just breaking into a new line, making it start a new line. So yeah, it's important to do like this. So enter. So I've broken all these text into one line. So they are each one line. But I need to actually break them into like one line further. So I don't think I can do that myself. What I want to just do is to open insert text. So I'm going to open insert text, and then go to open the UI, and then before I do that, I want to first of all frame this frame the text here. So I want to frame selection here and turn on clip content. So I'm going to call this text. Let's call it body. Let's call it body text. Okay. So with that done, I want to select the text itself and then duplicate it, because insert text sometimes gives you funny results. So you don't want to have that. I can't do Ctrl Z. It's not going to work. So I'm going to duplicate the text and then turn off the one in the background, and then I can select the insert text. Select the text I want to edit with insert text, and then go to this option here. This split regular text into rows and wrap. So I'm going to select it. So what that's done here is that you can select text now one line each. So I can animate them independently. This is a long process, but then it's the best what I do. So I'm going to just do that. And the next thing I want to now do is I think there's a plugin to do this, but ideally I should just be able to I want to frame all these lines, one line, each of the lines. So I want to just to frame them is just to, I think, 1 second. Okay, to frame them, just select each one and then control frame selection. Yeah, obviously frame them one line. So frame selection. I think it's a plugin to speed up this thing up, but I don't know the plugin. I don't remember the plugin, so I don't have to waste too much time looking for it. So I'm just going to frame each of the lines. So there's a shortcut, Command Option G to frame selection, to frame whatever you're selecting. So Command Option or Control Alternate G. So Control Alternate G if you're using a Windows. Okay, so I'm framing each line. So inside of this frame now you have like lines that you have the text inside of each, and each of the text here is inside of a frame. So I'm just going to name all the frames. Let's just select all the frames and then press Control arrow, Command arrow, and then name it lines. Let's call it lines. Let's call it text lines. I'm not really good at naming my objects properly, but yeah. So text lines. Let's call it text lines. So the next one to do is turn on click point of all of them, so that whatever, if the text are going outside, it's going to be like disappearing. So that's just something I want to have. So like this, I think we're able to like create the groundwork, set all the ground. It's hard groundwork. It's actually hard groundwork, but then it's necessary if you want to have like very clean results. So the next thing I want to do is to now duplicate. I cannot duplicate, so duplicate it here, and then we can now start messing around. So let's select the hands first. Select the hands layer, or the hands frame. Press enter, select all the text. That's the HANS, and then just hold shift on your keyboard and then press down. So down to just move it out of the frame. So you can see that the hands has gone out of the frame, although it's still inside of this frame, it has gone out. But if you were to use your mouse may actually take it out entirely. So I don't like it. I actually like using keyboard. So the next thing I want to do is to hold Command and then go to the layers panel and then deselect H. So click on H. H is going to be selected, and then I can move ANS. So I can move the ANS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then deselect the A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm holding shift, so shift is letting me move in increments of 10, 10, 10. So that five actually counted. It was actually 50 steps that I took. So just keep that in mind as well. So I'm going to deselect, hold Command and select N, and then move the S 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let me turn off this one, the Marie, and turn on what's it called? Let me turn off all these things, and then turn off. So what I have done, you can see that what I have is like a staggered text. So I want to actually create this staggered text animation, which is why I'm actually moving them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's how you create that like WebGL sort of animation out of Figma. So I staggered the text to make, so what is going to happen is that this one's going to come out first, this one's going to come out next, like this, like that. So it's coming out. So that's just the idea that I'm trying to like create it. So I can just go back and turn on my clip content. So because clip content is turned on, you're not going to see all of this rubbish outside of the frame. So turn on clip content for your frame and you're good. So let me go to the Anne-Marie. So Anne-Marie is the next one. So press the Anne-Marie frame and press enter on the Anne-Marie frame, and then you can do the same. So move everything out of the frame first. Once they're outside of the frame, everything's outside of the frame. Yeah, you can now deselect the first letter. So and is going first, and I'm going to move the M, A, and the Marie itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Select the M. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. So I think I've been able to achieve that for the Marie itself. So let's see how it looks. So you can see the Anne, Marie. Marie is just like, it's a staggered thing. So you have the Anne first, the M, A, R. So just like that. I'm doing 5. You can do a larger number. So the larger the number you do, the like faster the letters come outside the hair. So just the 5 is not really like set in stone. You can do whatever number you want to do. So and again, keep in mind that 5 is actually 50 steps. So I'm always using holding shift while I'm pressing it down on my keyboard to make it move in increments of 10. So that's just by the wayside. So let's turn on clip content back, and then for this 24, select the text itself. Let's move it down. That one does not have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just move it outside of the frame while it's not showing again, and you're good. For these other ones, I'm coming to them, but let's do the text. So for this text next, I'm going to select all the text, all the body text, select all the frames, select all the text, press enter. So I'm pressing enter to select everything inside of the frame. So I'm going to select all the text lines, and then press enter to select the actual text. So the actual text are selected now. The actual text are selected now. I can now press down to move them outside their frame. So you can see that they've moved outside their frame. Ideally, I could leave it like this, but then they'll come out at the same time. But I don't want that. I actually wanted to still have this staggered. So I want the first line to come out first, second line next, third line like that. So the first line is digital. I can just, since I'm looking at my layers panel, I can see the ones that are selected from the layers panel. So I can just hold command and select the first one. So that digital has been selected. So I can move the the other ones remaining. I can move them 1, 2. Let's do 2. I think since their texts are close to each other, let's not make them too far. So 2, and then select the next line 1, 2. Select next one 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. So that's 20 steps for like 20 steps space in between one line and the next, because I'm holding shift while I'm using my keyboards to move stuff. So that's that for the text, for that particular body of text. So for this one, what you want to do is select all the arrows, then select the actual vectors. So you can press enter to select all the actual vectors. What I want to do now is to now hold shift, and then this is funny, but then you want to move them diagonally, because I mean they're pointing diagonally, so obviously they should move diagonally. So ideally you could actually move them like this, up first and then sideways, but that's going to, you might mess up, not you might mess up. So what I want to do is to move them diagonally. I just I press the diagonal corresponding diagonal key. So diagonal movement is an addition of vertical and sideways motion. So I want to move them diagonally left, so I'm going to press left and up together. So left and up. So you can see, so I'm pressing left and up, it's moving diagonally. So that's just something I figured out. I saw Figma can actually allow you to do. So once I've done that, I want to select the first 2 vectors. Yeah, that's the one on this page, because I want these other ones to come out. I want this first one to come out first, the second one to come out next, and like that. So I want to move the other remaining 2 that are still selected, move them diagonally. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think 5 is good. Then select this second one, and then move the last one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a spacing of 50-50. So let's turn off the content so you can see what's happening. It's not really looking good outside, but it's going to make sense once it moves from this screen to this screen. So that's just what we're trying to do. Prototype it to move from this screen to this screen. So that's just that. So with that done, let's lower the opacity. Click on the nav bar, and then just lower the opacity to 0 totally. So the opacity, come to the opacity section here, turn it to 0, and you're good. So for the last thing, elements, this what's it called, this gem. So what you want to do for the gem is just rotate it to look straight. So I think if you rotate it to, I think 25. Let's do 25. I think 25. Yeah, 25. 25 is going to make it look straight. You can rotate it anyhow you want. Me, I want 25. So 25, and then I'm going to shrink it down. Then shrink it down to that size. Really, there's really no size wrong or right answer. And then you can now turn down the opacity of it. So the opacity is 50 by default. Just turn it down to 0. And you're good. So we have this screen done already. It was hard work actually setting all these things up, but then that's how it goes. That's how, if you want to have really great work at the end of the day, you have to like put in the work and sweat the detail. So with that done, nothing is going to happen because I'm not prototyping it. So I want you to just go to prototype mode, and then link this design to this one, and then set it to, I want to do on click. You can set it to anything really. Whatever trigger I want for it. So I think let's do hover. Let's do while hovering. Or this video I have, let's do mouse enter. Yeah, mouse enter. I think mouse enter looks nice. And then let's have the delay of 100. You can do any trigger is fine, like it doesn't really matter. But it's it's the animation that matters. So we want to change it from instant to smart animate. And then I want to leave it at, I think ease out. I think let's change it to easy in, ease out. Easy in and out, rather. Easy in and out. I think it looks good the way it comes into view. So let's change the timing to 1000. So 1000 milliseconds, which should be 1 second, I think. So we are good. Like this, we're good. So for this other one, you can just take it back here, link this one back. You want to change the on click, maybe from on click to mouse leave. So that once the mouse leaves the view, the thing disappears. So mouse leave. I think that's, I change this one to ease out. I think, or easy in. Let's do easy in. While it's going back, I like using easy in when it's going back. And then change the timing to 800. So let's see how it plays out. So let's press play on this viewport here. Play. So if I were to move my mouse into the view, so you can see how it comes into view and how everything just like plays out, because we've actually spent time setting like the back, how it works on the back end. So I don't think there's any mistakes I personally want to fix. I think it works perfectly fine. There's nothing I will do differently than I have done now. Everything just works and great. So feel free to go ahead and replicate this. This is the end of the design session. We could not create the scrolling effect because time has already gone. It's already past 1 hour, and I don't want to spend more than 1 hour on this session. I get too tiring. So next week, I might show how to do that scrolling, sticky scrolling thing. So we can see. So you can see as I'm scrolling. Let me show you. As I'm scrolling here, you can see the text. Sorry, as I get to the session, the image scrolls a bit and then it sticks, and then this, even the section itself has its own interaction as added to it. So all these things, I think I'm going to definitely find a way to put them to the next time design session, so we can you can see how it's done. So this sticky scrolling and every other bell and whistle that was added here, we can continue with it next week. So that's really try your best to replicate this and see what you can do. And also, if you can even yourself do that thing I talk about, where I say in the loading screen you have this you have this thing in the middle. If you can, it's a challenge where you can do this thing where it has this thing in the middle, it's rolling around, and then you have like a loading thing, and then once it finishes loading, this thing just shrinks and goes to that side. So that would be really nice to do. I'll try it myself. If you can as well, you can try it as well and see how the results come out. So thank you for coming to today's design session. It was really insightful, and I enjoyed creating this tutorial here. So if you have any questions while you're trying to replicate it, feel free to reach out to me. And if I have, I'm going to leave all links to important things in the comment section of the video. So in case you don't know, just go to Michel Victor on YouTube, and then you can find my videos there. So that's all. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yusuf, you're the only one on the call, so feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions. Thanks for showing up, by the way.
Yeah, I've actually been running away from using Spline for a while now, because all these tools are just everywhere. I'm on Webflow, I'm also on Figma, so it's just scary. I'm also using Jita, trying out Rag, so I've just pushed Spline like out of the view for now. Like, how do you kind of just get into the whole thing and start, using it? Do you have like a university, like the way Webflow has a university, Figma University, just go there and check out their program or something?
Okay, yeah, I think how I got into it really, the way I actually start using software is actually to find one small challenge and then do that small challenge first, and then I like build on that knowledge. But for what's it called, for Spline, they do have a channel on YouTube. They don't have a university yet, but they have a channel on what's it called, YouTube, where they start with the basic tutorials, and then from there you just like build upon that knowledge. So most of the time what I just do is watch those small tutorials and then build upon that knowledge, and then what's it called, and use them to create new stuff. So let me just share the link with you so you can find all the tutorials there. So the one I would recommend really is actually starting with creating that 3D edit. That's the simplest thing what's it called tutorial you can actually do. So you can start with that one, and then from there work your way up. And if you have any challenges, again, feel free to reach out to me. I always help as best as I can.
All right, thank you.
All right, no one. Thanks for coming. We'll talk next week.
All right, thank you. Take care.